I guess is the higher likelihood, yeah. But I don't believe a VCS jungler doesn't play Lee Sin until I see the whole split being done. That's just not possible.
I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what can come through. Let's talk as well about your least favorite champion in the game, Jhin. Locked in for Eddie, which is weird because if you told me a Jhin was locked in this series, I actually would have said, oh, Taki's playing Jhin support because he's already played 3 games of it in the support role. But it is Eddie on the champion, and I don't really see this Jhin performing particularly well, at least in the laning phase, against the amount of poke that Shogun and Taki have at their disposal.
Yeah, the biggest... I mean, in lane it should not do much, but Jhin is pretty good at just neutralizing lane and not doing much in the laning phase, and you going even in CS. So in terms of that, it's decent into the likes of Varus and even Ashe. So for laning phase, I think it's a decent pick, but of course I hate Jhin in the late game because he's just not a real AD carry. And you play this game against Malphite, the 500 armor champion, so that's going to be fun to look at in the late game, especially if Jhin is not very far ahead and Malphite is not super far behind. And Malphite is just going to stay on top of the Jhin for however long it takes to kill the Jhin. There's no way a Jhin can ever cut through a Malphite, so that's a concerning thing. On the other hand, though, Team Secret does have other damage sources and strong damage sources in that, right? So it's not the most horrible Jhin pick ever, but you still have a top laner that deals very good AoE damage, especially later on. And of course, Artifact on the Jace can be the main carry in teamfights too. So while I always hate the Jhin pick, I think in this composition it makes a little bit more sense than in some of the others we've seen.
And I do just want to very touch on something cool that Taki does. And I feel like every time we see Taki playing, every time we see Saigon Buffalo playing, we always find something that we praise Taki for. I just really like how he instantly trades onto Eddie and Juhao, pops the barrier as well, so he takes no damage, and he says, look, my barrier's going to be up soon anyway, I'll just take this quick health advantage right at the start of the lane.
Yeah, a lot of people do this on the Ashe support. It's kind of gotten into the meta where everyone just spams level 1 barrier or level 2 barrier because it's, as you said, very short cooldown, very favorable trading because the enemy team doesn't really get to put damage onto you at all through the barrier. And BeamJ's here, back in the lineup, annoys Eddie a bit.
It does scare Juhao and Eddie away from picking up that ward trinket that was placed down. And overall, though, seeing nothing really too spicy coming through. It's just been the Saigon Buffalo, the Saigon bottom lane, yeah. Just getting themselves a bit of pressure in the mid lane, and we're still waiting to really see Shang look towards Froggy in this mid lane.
Okay, so now we have a little bit of time to talk about standing implications and the overall state of the league right now, right? So we saw Cerberus just, oh, never mind, we don't.
No, we don't. Flash engage coming through from Shang. First blood picked up by the Team Secret rookie jungler.
And we have to say something about Taki here, stepping up too far and into the Nautilus grab. With his flash available, he probably thought, okay, it's fine if I get grabbed because we still out-trade with our heal available and so on. But of course, if the jungler is there, he just dies. Taki, a little bit too much hubris. Walking, yeah, that is just... Even if the jungler is not there, honestly, that's a really bad trade. So Taki just overstepping his welcome a bit, as we have the counter here.
Eddie flashing away out to safety just about. Somehow, Eddie does survive, but is forced to burn that summoner spell.
And that's 2 flashes now. I mean, the first flash for Shang was actually in his gank, but now 2 flashes down means potentially an advantage for Saigon Buffalo in the first big team fight. 8 minutes at Herald comes to mind, maybe even at Dragon. Will trade. His artifact goes super aggressively in hammer form. Look at the damage!
Of course he does. Sidesteps on the Q, and I thought he was going to get enough autos to get a kill onto Froggy, but he gets enough autos just to flex on him.
Really nice aggressive play. Good to see the confidence from the side of Artifact. Our MVP of Summer, such a good performance in the regular split. In Summer, of course, he's always a little bit down in players, you could say. Maybe not the most clutch player throughout his career, but usually a very strong contender for the mid lane pool in the VCS, and with the better end of the trade. Level 6 hit first as well, forcing Froggy back in lane. He doesn't even have teleport, so already used the teleport, Froggy. And he needs to be careful.
Froggy needs to be careful.
Yep.
Oh, Team Secret are looking for the ganker spanker.
No!
He tries to predict the movement from Froggy, but Froggy just doesn't move. Juhao is so low.
Oh my
Is he going to survive? Juhao doesn't. Froggy does. You can see what Zhuhao was going for, but Froggy just did not react ice cool on the reactions.
Back to Lulu. Oh my word, that was just ugly from Zhuhao. And this costs Eddie so much as well. Eddie can't play the game right now. He just has to go to the rest of this team, and the rest of his team is fighting.
And look who's here. Harsmed joins into the fray. BJ has fallen. It's a 1-for-1. Zhang is left with nowhere to go. Eddie can't do anything on his own. And it's 2 kills for 1 for Saigon Buffalo.
And it's even worse than it looks on first glance. Because it's a 2-for-1 kill trade, but everything goes horribly, horribly wrong for Team Secret. As you said, Eddie just wasn't able to do anything in this fight and couldn't farm either. He's already 20 CS down, and it's good from Artifact to get at least 1 kill back, right? So it doesn't go 0 for 2 there. But look at this bot lane situation now. Look at the level difference. Look at the CS. Oh, Taki actually not trusting his own dodging. Activated the barrier just because he was a little scared of the burst from Eddie and Zhuhao. But if we look at the gold lead, it's only 300. Interestingly enough, I think that's mostly Kratos having a CS advantage. But Saigon Buffalo on the bottom side is so much stronger now.
Saigon Buffalo, we expected them to have this lead in the bottom lane, and maybe not as much as they already do at 7 minutes. First strike of the game is available for the taking. And with BJ hovering around this bottom side, just hoping that Zhuhao gets a little bit too aggressive with one of those dredge lines.
7 minutes in, we're approaching that all-important 8-minute mark with the Herald coming up. BJ is only level 5. They would really like to have him at level 6 if they wanted to fight there. Shogun is 6 though, so he can set up something. BJ has been looking a bit out of sorts, a little bit out of position as well in this game. Very heavily playing towards the spot lane, which you understand, right? The spot lane is a very strong one, but not really contributing much to his team.
Saigon Buffalo, for now, I guess they can just take a little break. They don't have to do anything too aggressive. They've allowed Team Secret to make mistakes towards them. He has found a window to roam. We know how much he loves to roam. Good charm, but so much damage onto Shogun. It's a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane. Over the wall goes Froggy. Now looking towards Eddie. So much damage. Taki just tanking everything up for his mid laner. 2-for-1 in the bottom lane in favor of Saigon Buffalo.
Not the cleanest execution on the mechanics, but very good play in terms of setup and just going for the play in the first place. Bot lane dive, it's such a huge element of League of Legends in 2023, and they make it happen. Unfortunately, Shogun goes down early, so nothing really into Shogun's pockets, but at least Froggy is now accelerated Ahri, and we know Ahri from behind is barely a champion, and from ahead she can kind of run the game alone, so important to have early gold on Froggy, and he already found his first roam of the game.
2-0 and 3 for Froggy on this Ahri. When we think about Ahri, we don't really think of it as a Froggy champion. We tend to think of the likes of Glory and Artifact himself, but Froggy playing very well with the champion so far and has found a source of gold, even if it isn't from CS. Currently 20 CS down on Artifact.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because he has been... I mean, he has been struggling in the 1v1, mostly due to Artifact actually playing really well, but he is again. Taki with a flash!
Flash forward to find the slow, potentially the turnaround though from Zhang, and Taki just way too aggressive. It might just be the 1-for-1 overall. Good charm lands from Froggy. Over the wall goes Zhang, but following goes BJ, and it is indeed a 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
That's just some raw, crazy rookie aggression there from the side of Zhang. He looked at Taki, was like, okay, I can do the same. I can be just as crazy. They trade flashes and they trade lives, but that's the... Okay, what is happening?
Dredgeline under tower. Surely Froggy dies. There comes the final auto. It's a shutdown, but sadly the gold is claimed by Zhuhao. Another 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, and the gold is looks... kind of close. Actually, Secret ahead in gold, but the gold allocation is really bad for them. All the gold always goes to their support. The support is now sitting at 2 kills and a shutdown, so that's a lot of gold into one of the least gold scaling supports in the game too. It's not even a Lulu or Soraka where you're like, okay, it's fine, you get your first item first. No, it's a Nautilus. That's just completely useless gold. And they continue to lose CS. Oh no, Taki might do that again.
Zhuhao, the depth charge though is available. Chains of Corruption come through to lock Zhuhao in place. But Eddie with the curtain call just gets given Taki on a silver platter. Taki now with 3 deaths this game. And I was going to say, maybe this is just like how we're going to play in Clash later today, Yulway. Juhao missing all of the dredge lines just like I will, but still somehow getting all of the kills.
Great, thank you. I hate it. No, but I want to point out how well Team Secret has been able to punish Taki's aggression, because usually we're always so amazed at Taki, right? Because he finds those angles and he's insane. He has this insane mechanical prodigy and also very good at shot calling. But in this game, he has found the angles, but Team Secret has also been aware and just punished him every time he tried to go for something aggressive. They punched him in mid lane. Now they straight run into bot lane. They know that his flash is down because he flashed aggressively, because of course he did. He's Taki. So 2 kills for 1 flash, and they can maybe even get a 3rd one because his flash is only half of cooldown. So very good punish and focus on this Ashe.
And there's a lot of CS differences across the map as well. You look towards Kratos on this Kennen, nearly 20 CS up on Harsmed, big CS lead for Artifact in the mid lane, big CS lead for Shang as well on the Sejuani relative to Xin Zhao as the engage comes through from Froki. Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't land. That is so unfortunate for Saigon Buffalo.
Oh, that was almost perfect for Saigon Buffalo, and it's just inches away from securing them another kill on Shang. This game is so exciting. This is some old school VCS action, and it never stops.
Redline lands so much damage so quickly on Taki. The cleanse and the final shot from Eddie will secure the kill. 2-1 on the Jin.
Oh, yet another kill on Taki, yet another punish on his flash being down, and it seems like Team Secret is really picking the correct fights. They're now off to more than a 1k gold lead, almost 1.5, more than 1.5k actually. And with the kills transitioning over to the Jin, at least they have one, well, carry. I'd call it fake carry, but let's say carry with a little bit of gold on him. And to be fair to him, it's also a Hasmid on the Malphite having to play into an AP carry. So in the mid game, this Jin will actually be able to deal some damage to the tank. I think later on, once there's 1 or 2, or maybe even 2 armor items completed on Hasmid, then the Jin is kind of just gonna be sad. But at this point, he's actually doing all right.
I think once you get to that point, you're just really hoping that Kratos has enough damage on this Kennen to get through the Malphite, or you can force Malphite into a side lane as Froki forced to use the Spirit Rush out to safety. As Shang shows himself on the Sejuani, has that ultimate, has the engage available from the Arctic Assault, and Froki taking no chances.
Let's take another look at the jungle matchup, because it's surprisingly Chiang with more than a 20 CS gold lead. BJ has just been running around trying to cover all his lanes, especially top, bottom, mid lane. All his lane is just a lie. Yeah, he has never been in top lane, but it's a Malphite, so you don't expect him to be there. But he has been in bot lane unsuccessfully so many times. The best bot lane gank was actually made by his mid laner instead. But BJ's stats look great. He's 2-1 and 2 in some of the team fights. He's quite behind, though, in terms of jungle rotations. And he's a level down to Chiang, which is mostly due to the fact that catch-up experience is helping him out here. But if he needs to farm some camps as well, because Xin Zhao, without gold, is not the greatest champion in the game.
And in the top lane, Kratos just able to pick up another tower plate. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, and there's just nothing Artifact can do. You're stunned for so long from the ult, and maybe Artifact needs to itemize towards the QSS.
That was just perfection. The Saigon Buffalo CC chain was unstoppable.
You know how myself and Marby, we were talking about the Keck W press R composition. Maybe this is the true press R Keck W composition from Saigon Buffalo, as BJ's just taking so much damage.
Oh,
Free kill, Dredge Line comes through, and now the follow onto Taki. 5th kill, or 5th death of the game might be coming through as a curtain call from Eddie, just doing a little work onto the health bars as he tries to find that little slim banana shot.
Yeah, the curve was on there. That was super close from Eddie. So this game is just very interesting and confusing to cast, because so much is happening, which is always a good sign. Means both teams...
so it's VCS, okay.
True, but it's also a sign that both teams are able to make snap decisions all the time and just punish enemy teams' oversteps. And once again, there's Eddie's just one step out of line, instantly has to flash away, because there's so much CC, so much pick potential in all these champions, especially on the SGB side, that you have to be on your guard every single second of the game. So actually Team Secret walking away with a huge gold lead now, 2.5k, but against 2 dragons. And the next dragon is already going to be very important, because you don't want to give Mountain Drakes over to this SGB comp, and especially not over to Hasmed, because it's already hard to deal with the stone in the late game. But if he has 2 Mountain Drakes to top off his resistances, it's going to be almost impossible to kill him.
And kind of again talking about the standings as a whole and talking about Saigon Buffalo and Team Secret, these are 2 teams that kept their rosters the same. Yes, I know it's Kratos who's right now playing instead of Hero Shang just joining into the roster, but otherwise these were 2 rosters that coming into the split, I think both teams planned on keeping the same as in 2022. Both of them struggling, which I think goes as a testament for how much the likes of SBTC, Team Wales have improved, Cerberus have improved as well, because even looking at this game, if we were in 2022, I don't think we'd say that, you know, this is a bad performance from either team. This is the kind of performance we'd expect from the 2 teams that were sitting 2nd and 3rd in the standings.
Yeah, and of course it's the 4th game of those 2 teams against each other this year, because they played the very first series, but it's kind of the first game in if you discount that series, which you can.
With these rosters.
Yeah, with these rosters too, but you can also put a huge caveat on that first series, because that was the series that gave us a lot of anxiety for the rest of the split. They actually improved so much, so it was only that one series, it was just riddled with pauses. I think Carrix and I sat here for 4 hours. There was certainly more pause time than in-game time, much more, and we only played 1 series on that day because it was just too delayed. Yeah, and Saigon Buffalo, oh, there we go again.
They found something. Too far forward, gets caught out by the Malphite ult. BJ ends up picking up the kill onto the cannon, and Team Secret are forced to retreat. No objective, though, for Saigon Buffalo to be able to capitalize on. Glacial Prison, though, does land into the Deadly Flourish. Now the Curtain Core, BJ taking a lot of damage, does not have an ult available. Taki, of all people, is the one at tanking these shots in the 4th shot. Doesn't actually do that much work onto the Ash, and Shogun's piercing arrow does about double the damage of the Eddie's 4th shot.
Yeah, still in love with how Secret is playing aggressively, even from numbers disadvantages, because they know that both ultimates are down for BJ and Hasmed. So, and even Froggy used his ultimate for some reason to get there. So even though it's a 5v4 on the map, there's not much Saigon Buffalo's top side can do without their ultimates. They are kind of just non-champions when they can't engage with those huge abilities. So Team Secret instantly punishes and almost forces the flash from BJ. Luckily this time around he was actually able to just walk away. And as we take a quick look at the vision setup for the Dragon, Saigon Buffaloes have invested so much for the bot side river, and it's gonna pay off in 30 seconds if they can hold their line here in the mid lane. They lost their tower, so in terms of towers, Team Secret actually in a better position, but with Varus Ashe, it's very easy to contest mid wave. So Froggy roaming around, just kind of being a living ward here, and it's so hard for Team Secret to reconquer vision.
I do have a quick question for you, Yulway, before we talk about the Drake setup a little bit more, which is, what is this Yomu's Ghostblade for Eddie? Is this the new Jin build, or is this something bizarre?
Ooh. There we go. I don't think we have time to analyze items as we look for the engage.
Force is available for Hasmed if he does want to engage. Saigon Buffalo, though, just going to push in the mid lane. Dredgeland lands onto Hasmed, but so do the Chains of Corruption, and Juhao just takes so much damage. He's still alive! BJ's now the focus, but the piercing arrow finds the shutdown for Shogun.
Froggy used his ultimate. He's not really a champion right now. BJ also super low. Once again, the numbers advantage over to Saigon Buffalo, but better abilities available for Team Secret. They're not quite as ultimate reliant, and Kratos, the one champion that really relies on his ultimate, still does have it. So even though they win the fight in terms of numbers, I think Secret might be able to just walk away with the dragon. Saigon Buffalo doesn't agree with me, though.
Have to be careful because the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the Chains of Corruption will be up soon for Taki and Shogun respectively, and in the end both teams back away from the objective.
It's unfortunate that Team Secret doesn't seem to be assertive enough to punish these ultimate usages, because Froggy and BJ honestly weren't really much of a threat here, but Secret still punishing the recall timers for Saigon Buffalo. They might still walk away with the dragon. Important objective for the side of Secret.
Shang just having a little think about engaging onto Froggy. The charm comes through. tanked by Shang and Artifact. Very good reaction to flash out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Taki. Otherwise, he most certainly would have died. Saigon Buffalo, though, back onto the map, pushing now in the mid lane, and surely this time round, they will be able to pick up the outer tower. Very good engage from Shang. Locks Shogun down. Good dredge line onto Harsman. Again, the Chains of Corruption come through. Kratos sidestepping the charm from Froggy. And Team Secret keep their tower intact once again.
Hit for tat. It's just waiting for one of them to be out of line, to overstep their welcome and to be able to be executed by either team. They're both just looking for blood constantly. Very tense situation on the map right now, and Froggy once again. Froggy's just on cooldown ulting, trying to get close enough to land a charm, trying to fish for the one target. Very interesting application of the Ahri. I feel like Ahri is playing more Malphite than Malphite in this game, surprisingly enough. But it's working all right for Saigon Buffalo. They're still behind in gold, but they're up in kills, they're up in dragons, even though they lost the last one. So they're scaling okay into the late game. Of course, they don't really have a DPS AD carry either, so the Jhin doesn't really get outscaled too heftily by the enemy ADC in this case, but it's still a Varus from pretty far ahead, so a lot of damage on the squishy targets.
Muramana completed for Artifact now has hit some form of a power spike, and Shang is going to be getting rather tanky as well with that Radiant Virtue. Is it the Radiant Virtue or is it the Heart Steel, which is the one that...
No, it is Radiant Virtue.
Okay. There you go. Infinite scaling for Team Secret. Compensates for the Jhin.
No. The Heart Steel stacks the health.
Oh, okay.
Radiant Virtue heals the other targets, but it's a much better item, so...
Fair enough. Well, Shang just hovering around the river. Baron is up, and look at Froggy on the other side of the map, just maybe hoping that someone from Team Secret tries to rotate down to the bottom lane and he can catch them with a charm, and some of that Ahri burst damage now on 2 items with the Everfrost and Banshee's Veil completed.
And Buffalo is so desperate for this mid tower. They want to crack it open, they want to open up the map, and Froggy goes again. There's the Malphite Ahri trying to fish something.
I can't tell if it's Froggy being unlucky or Eddie being very good on the side steps, but either way, Froggy he keeps on going for these alt engages, just trying to fish for a play, and every time he's coming so close, and you have to feel that one of these times it is going to land and it's going to be devastating for Team Secret.
Exactly, that's why he's doing it. It's the success rate doesn't really matter. You just need to hit one. It doesn't matter when it comes. It just he just needs to hit one on Eddie, and then the game's over because you crack open the tower, you get the Baron. So it's really not about his skill shot accuracy. It's just trying. Maybe it's a 10% chance, but if you tried often enough, maybe the 10% hit at some point.
I'm going to quote that when you next flame me for missing my skill shots as Nautilus or Blitzcrank.
That's fair. That's fair. The problem with missing on Nautilus is that then you lose your life if you do it. So, that hit actually.
How able to sidestep the Chains of Corruption, Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. How can flash over the wall, but that's 2 big cooldowns now gone. Froggy over the wall, looking for Shang, lands a charm, but BJ is already incredibly low. Permafrost almost locks BJ down. Kratos is on the other side of the map, does have a ward that he could teleport to, but Team Secret not looking to press their advantage.
I don't know, this Xin Zhao champion looks incredibly useless to me, but let's see if he can do something later in team fights. Every time he tries to go in, he just goes down to half HP in a matter of half a second or something, so I don't know. It doesn't look too effective. I mean, it's strong in early skirmishes, but I'm not entirely sure what he's going to contribute to the team later. Looks like he's going for something like... what's this building into? I think...
What's what building into?
Xin Zhao's items.
Black Cleaver?
It's still Black Cleaver? I think they changed Black Cleaver's item. Well, this is old Black Cleaver build.
Phage goes into Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. The dredge line, though, was buffered, and Juhao just delivers himself into the enemy team. BJ has to be careful. So low. One more auto will be enough. Shang gets the kill, so it's a 1-for-1. Jungler down now for Saigon Buffalo. All the while, Kratos just pushing in the bottom lane, gets an outer tower, and still has that teleport available to him.
Rocky on Artifact. Good dodge.
Taki, though, takes a brunt of the Empowered Shock Blast down to half health. Team Secret just backing away, but Shang just tanking all of this wave and preventing Saigon Buffalo from being able to do anything with it, and still that outer tower in the mid lane standing, and it's felt like Saigon Buffalo had about 4 or 5 opportunities to take it, but every time Team Secret stopping them in their tracks. And now with BJ down, Team Secret say, we don't want to get the Baron. We're going to take the Drake and once again deny Saigon Buffalo soul point.
And you see the difference between these jungle champions. Jin Zhao is really just a glorified Nautilus, and they did exactly the same thing there as champions in the last team fight. Nautilus got caught, died, and Jin Zhao had to go forward to catch the Nautilus and died as well. But when the Sejuani goes in, she actually has time to do stuff and run out again. So you really see the difference between these two champions. And also, just look at the CS. How has this happened? How is Sejuani 50 CS up on Jin Zhao?
I mean, to be fair, BJ was ganking, looking for plays a lot, and we commented that BJ was about 20-30 CS down on Shang at about 10 minutes, and I guess that CS difference has only continued to increase. Something else I do want to bring up with the Drakes is those Mountain Drakes could be really big for Saigon Buffalo, for the likes of Hazme. We talked about how much of a thorn in the side of Team Secret that Malphite can be with its tankiness, but by denying some of those Drakes away from Saigon Buffalo, it's now going to be the likes of Shang and Zhuhao that are going to be rather difficult for Saigon Buffalo to burn through.
Yeah, and everyone knows Mountain Drakes are already one of the best dragons, maybe the best dragons in the game, but it's even more important than... Oh, that's a catch on Shogun.
Froggy teleported to the bottom lane, and Team Secret are saying this is now our opportunity to engage. Hazmed is making his way over. Taki is low, but look how tanky Shang is, and Team Secret saying we don't want Taki anymore. We want to kill BJ. We want to kill the jungler. And down goes the Jin Zhao. Hazmed locked down. Kratos flashing forward with a slicing maelstrom. Can't get on top of Shogun, but they just want to kill the Malphite. 2 kills for Team Secret.
Where's the damage for Saigon Buffalo? They just don't have any. At least Froggy finally lends a charm on Eddie, but it's still not enough to kill him. Might be with a little bit of dancing.
Froggy feeling like finding an engage, but now there's no ultimate available for Froggy. Has to be careful of Zhuhao with that dredge line, but with the damage onto Eddie, Team Secret no longer feel like they can take the Baron. So Secret get 2 kills, but they can't get anything from it.
You really see the tankiness of Shang and even his very smart itemization paying dividends. Shogun was so far ahead in this game, but he's playing Lethality Varus, and Lethality Varus is not good at dealing with this insanely tanky Qiang. And with the 2 Mountain Drakes, that might actually be what pushes him ahead of everyone else, because he is, look at him, he's not taking any damage from everyone, and then even the healing from his Radiant Virtue keeps him popped off. He's such a menace. He might actually be the main carry in teamfights right now, because he can do whatever he wants. He has so much CC to work with, and no one can really step up to him. Shogun can't even get close. Froggy deals no damage to him, so who's ever cutting through this pick on the other side?
I do want to say, I think the final part of that fight from Team Secret where Kratos went for the flash engage, I don't think was smart, because now you no longer have the flash slicing Maelstrom to get on top of Shogun for the next fight. And on top of that, if you look at the map as a whole, Saigon Buffalo came out of that on top because they were able to get the mid lane outer tower. Team Secret weren't able to get anything from it. So from a structural point of view, I think Saigon Buffalo will be happy with how that fight turned out.
I mean, they can't really be happy. Maybe it's a little bit of a... not quite the worst of situations is available now, but it's still a pretty devastating situation you're finding yourself in as the team. You have the 3k gold down, but it feels like much more, because there's no way you can ever kill the enemy tank. So how do you even win team fights? BJ just evaporates in all of these, but here we have another try.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow once again, though, lands onto Zhuhao, and Shang is just tanking everything. He's taking the kitchen sink from Saigon Buffalo, but the kitchen sink is completely empty, and Shang is just going to slowly heal up now, has the Warmwood's armor as well, so Saigon Buffalo just can't find a way through this front line. We thought that the Malphite was going to be the issue for Team Secret, but in fact, it's turning out to be the Sejuani for Saigon Buffalo.
What a performance once again from this rookie jungler. 3 games and 3 very impactful, very good games. This time he was a little bit quieter in the early game. He did find some good engages in the bottom lane especially, and punished Taki over and over again. Was caught out a few times by Taki's aggression on the other hand too. But his late game impact, his team fighting, and just staying relevant on these tanks is something that has to be learned too. Something that, for example, BJ seems to be struggling with, at least in this game, where he has fallen so far behind that he's just a glorified minion at this point, just an engage bot, essentially support, where the other jungler is having huge teamfight impact and is carrying his team.
Really good performance from Shang, not just against SBTC last week, But here against Saigon Buffalo, and we talked about how important this series is for both teams if they want to make it into playoffs. With Team Flash having lost, whoever wins this series will be jumping up to 5th place, just one series behind SBTC and Team Wales in 3rd place. Shang looks for the engage onto Froggy. Spirit rushes out to safety. The charm, though, lands onto Zhuhao. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. This time, surely they get through.
Oh, they got him!
He's pulled in, can't get over the wall. It's a kill for Saigon Buffalo. And surely this time, Saigon Buffalo can pick themselves up at Drake.
Yeah, now without the big tank, Team Secret shouldn't be able to ever go close to the dragon, and they are missing the smite too, so it's not even really worth to try and get there, because it's super risky, and then you have a very, very low chance of actually getting that dragon. So finally, Saigon Buffalo get a little bit of a breath of fresh air, and the 3rd dragon. Now, 1 dragon away from Soul. They need 1 more of those fights, and then it's it's the Dragon Soul, one of the strongest Dragon Souls too, which will give Bean J and Husmet so much of a respite in terms of tankiness in the late game. Just added HP for free and so much tankiness on top of that. So this could be a huge turning point in the game.
Have you ever heard of a knee-jerk reaction?
Of
Are you
course.
familiar with the term?
Of course.
So Shang just did a knee-jerk reaction to that fight. Do you know what it was?
Flashing?
No. So you know how he got stunned down for eternity and died?
Yeah.
After he died, he instantly sold his Lucidity boots and bought Mercury Shreds.
Oh, that's so funny.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through, but this time there are some nice Mercury Treads that Lockdown Shang is not. And Team Secret looking to contest over the Baron Nash of Saigon Buffalo, currently the team with control over the top side river, but there is a very nice scuttle that is giving Team Secret a little bit of vision. Kratos split pushing in the bottom lane. Froggy no teleport. So Team Secret waiting for Harsmed to answer this cannon in the side lane before looking for a play.
And Milky, please riddle me this. How in the world is Kratos perma-split pushing but always a level behind Harsmed? I don't understand. This
Well, he's
so
now the same
confusing
level.
to me.
So, I don't know. Just, don't you know when you split push, minions are worth less XP, right?
Sure. Now this is really confusing, but he hit level 16 now, so he is a huge damage threat, and Taki and Shogun are just gonna explode if he ever gets on top of them. He does a flash ready, so this is one of the scariest cannon you can ever face. I think he went pretty aggressive with his items too. Not the highest AP build, but a very high utility and penetration build, so this is going to be a very, very scary team-fighting cannon. We haven't seen that many good cannons so far. The best cannon player in the league should be Yoshino, but his cannon performance of...
Wait, really?
Yeah, he is insane. I mean, Husmet is really good, but Yoshino has always been known for his cannon, has always been good on cannon, so... I feel like we haven't really seen the high end of cannon play so far, but it might be this game with the rookie Kratos coming in. Very quiet so far, but look at him now. 3.5 items working towards this big void stuff to cut through the extra resistances and try to eliminate Shogun and maybe even Froggy from the fight.
And I don't know if you remember to last week, Yolway, but I asked you for a stat on how many games had Kennen played. If I remember correctly, it was 2. It is now at 3. This will be the 4th Kennen game. And Kennen has not yet won a single game in the VCS.
But to be fair, last week was actually the patch where it was super confusing that we saw Cannon, because that was also a knee-jerk reaction to the patch coming in solo queue. Just play Cannon on the weak patch and competitive, because it feels good in solo queue. Makes no sense, but of course now we are actually on 13.5, so the Cannon is buffed. The Cannon is a much better pick now than it was last week, and Kratos, once again, he's kind of the hidden factor for Team Secret, because we haven't actually seen anything from him yet in the game, but everyone knows about the hidden potential of the team fighting cannon. And now Saigon Buffalo are forced to start the Baron because he's just perma split pushing.
And Kratos is just going to keep on split pushing. He's going to get this inhibitor tower so quickly. It's already down. Now looking for the inhibitor. And Team Secret are being an absolute menace. Keep your eyes on Froggy looking for the potential engage. They turn off the Baron. And now the teleport is coming in. But Saigon Buffalo are already losing the fight in the 4v5. It's practically 5v3. Great dredge line onto Froggy. And Kratos just forces Saigon Buffalo away from the fight. Team Secret are murdering Saigon Buffalo. Good flash, almost tagged by the dredge line from Zhuhao. A double kill for Eddie. Artifact falls, but it's 3 for 1. for the side of Team Secret, and most certainly a Baron Nashor to be secured.
This is exactly what we expect in this matchup between Team Secret and Saigon Buffalo. Aggressive posturing, aggressive fighting from Saigon Buffalo, more creative plays, and Secret is the better team in terms of lane allocation and just macro play, and this is exactly what happened. Saigon Buffalo this time was forced to start the Baron. They needed to break the split push, but it was a rather haphazard start and just a little bit half-hearted in the execution. They weren't able to commit to it fully, and then Team Secret wins on both sides of the map. Saigon Buffalo is behind in position. They try to salvage it with a really good engage on Artifact. Froggy from the side. Artifact instantly eliminated from the fight. So it's a 1-for-0 start for Saigon Buffalo, which is good. But then Kratos zones away the whole backline. They can't ever fight in this choke point whatsoever. Taki and Shogun just completely zoned away from Kratos and still die to him. So Team Secret now in a very good position to win map number 1.
Third Drake of the game secured as well by Team Secret. Shogun and Taki now with no flash available either. It's going to make them so much more susceptible to a depth charge from Zhu Hao, from an engage from Shang. Baron and Soul point for Team Secret. They're not going to push their advantage just yet. They're going to go back to doing what's been working so well for them, which is this 4-1 split pushes, saying, Kratos, you do your own thing. Nobody seems to be able to match you. Nobody seems to want to match you from Saigon Buffalo, and we'll keep doing our thing, which is pushing as 4 members in a different lane and just making sure we don't get caught out by a half-med unstoppable force.
Yeah, and I'm kind of failing to see the win conditions for Saigon Buffalo now, because they just don't have the damage to cut through Qiang and even Zhu Hao, and then they don't really have the tools to fire past Kratos when he zones the backline. Even if Shogun gets to auto-attack a few times or gets to rotate through his spells a few times, how can he ever kill anyone? So, yeah.
Well, this is Halfmed. That's the tank, and down goes the tank for Saigon Buffalo. We were wondering how much of an issue would this Malphite be. Well, 3 items on the Malphite, and Team Secret just get to fire away at him, and down goes the, well, what we thought would be a very scary rock.
Indeed, and that's really should be the game for Team Secret. Maybe not on this push, but it's looking doomed for Saigon Buffalo.
Tanked up very well by Zhu Hao. Great dredge line onto Froggy, and down goes the Saigon Buffalo mid laner. Zhu Hao is incredibly low, but look who's coming from the side. It's Kratos looking for that potential engage. For now, though, he's just looking for an inhibitor, now scaring Shogun and Taki. In goes Kratos. Damage, wow, but it's Shogun absolutely eviscerated, just like Saigon Buffalo are being eviscerated from the ref. Team Secret, 38 minutes, take game 1 over Saigon Buffalo.
What a performance in the late game. Team Secret with a measured approach after a completely chaotic